There's one. Got one. Nice. It's a decent fish. So this year I've been releasing a series of dodgers with J&K Tackle, and the first 3 in that series focused on specific depths, and this final one is more related towards seasonality. We're early August right now, so sort of approaching that last month of the kokanee season before these fish are going to start to turn and spawn. And some of the early spawning lakes are already starting to turn. And I wanted to do a dodger that was really meant for this sort of end of season, late season kokanee fishing. And one of the things I've noticed is that late season, my watermelon dodgers, that's the green and red, do the best. And I got to thinking about that, and one of the things that I noticed is that that's basically the same colors that kokanee turn in their transition to spawning colors. So they'll turn bright red with kind of sort of a coppery vent area and coppery orange, and then they'll get a bright green head. And that's what this dodger imitates exactly. This is basically biomimicry at its best, and it is built on J&K's MK3 Dodger Blank. Nice little chromer coming in the boat here. Get him in there. There he goes. Perfect. First kokanee of the day. Alright, so he hit just a plain red glow squid, which is going to be included with the dodger. You'll get a set of these 3 red squids. Nice little 11, 12-inch kokanee, but chunky. And so I named this dodger Nerka. So Nerka is the Latin species epithet for kokanee, which is, their genus is Oncorhynchus, like all other salmon, and Nerka is their species name. It is basically a carbon copy of a spawning kokanee. It has the green head, which is a fluorescent green, that bright sort of fire truck engine red body, and then like an orange coppery with some speckles that leads back towards the base or vent of the dodger, and it's going to be chrome on back. And then, like I said, this is going to be paired with a glow red, a glow red squid. And like I said, I noticed, and a lot of other folks did too. Oops, I think I might have lost that one. Yeah. When I was fishing Hayden just a few days ago, you know, one of the anglers noted that he tends to do very well on watermelon. You know, late season, my red and green watermelon dodgers and red hoochies and red spinners do better. And if you think about the transformation that kokanee make at the end of their life as they prepare to spawn and then senesce, that is their pre-programmed death. And so one of the things I think about as a biologist, for many years I worked in a lab at Auburn University with a professor named Dr. Jeff Hill. And he's one of the leading experts on sexual selection and color in birds. And so we studied how, you know, color is expressed in male and female birds. Because obviously being bright colored isn't great if you're trying not to get eaten by predators that can also see color. And there's a metabolic and energetic cost to producing complex colors and changing your body to make yourself more attractive to a mate. And that's an expensive and dangerous thing that birds do in order to successfully mate. And one of the things we noted is that, you know, those birds become sensitive to those colors. They're really keying in on those colors. And I have to think that the same rules apply to salmon. Salmon must be judging each other by the brightness of their colors. Of course, the males are brighter and bigger and get big humps on their backs and elongate green heads, whereas the female colors are more subdued. But they're there, and I think both, you know, male and female kokanee, when they're up spawning on their spawning beds in streams or in rivers, or even on lake shores, they're making judgments about what what is a good mate, you know? They're not just randomly selecting a mate. They're judging the brightness of that red, the brightness of that green head. If the bigger, longer that green head is, I imagine the more attractive it is to a female kokanee on a male. And likewise, a male kokanee might be looking at a female kokanee. If she's brighter red, maybe that means she carries more eggs. And these are just hypotheses, but these are the types of patterns that we notice in birds. That, you know, brighter males are better fathers. They bring more food to their offspring. They have better genetics. And so I have to think that these same rules apply. And I think that explains kokanee's hypersensitivity to reds and greens late season, is that they are keyed in on those colors because those are the colors by which they judge each other's suitability as mates. And so I think their brain just starts to really change this time of year as they prepare to spawn, and they get really excited by those reds and greens. So I don't think it's any like happy accident that watermelon is a popular color, especially late summer. I think what's even more remarkable about their sensitivity to these colors is that, you know, a lot of these fish, like today, they're all at 30, 35 feet. So the fact that they're keying in on red and getting excited by red when there's barely any red light there shows me that they're hypersensitive to whatever red light is available in that space. So on this one, I've just got the plain red squid. And this one over here on the downrigger, I've thrown a little gold and moon jelly blade on the front of it. As you can see, it's the MK3 Dodger, so it's a little bit faster cadence thump. It's not like the Chub Dodger with big, wide, slow wobble. I tend to prefer a little bit faster trolling speeds. And the end of the season, I think the MK3 is a better Dodger for that. That faster kick tends to get them a little more excited this time of year. Oop, another one. Nice. Of course, another thing that Nerka serves a purpose is it's a very beautiful Dodger, and I think I just wanted to have a Dodger that really showcased the immense talents that Jake and Kevin have at J&K Tackle. I mean, their hand-painted Dodgers are absolutely beautiful, and their hand-poured squids are really detailed. And, you know, I think that's sort of an art that's been lost in the age of mass-produced, Chinese-made, Mexican-made lures. It's really kind of nice to have a piece of artwork in your tackle box that really showcase the talents that a lot of anglers have. And I think you can see the passion that Jake and Kevin have in what they do by the quality of the work they do. I mean, they don't need to do it. They just choose to do it. And I think Nerka really showcases that skill set that they have and that passion. All right, let's see if we can get this one in the boat. Come on, little kokanee. Nice. That's a chunky little dude. Gotcha. Very nice. That's about 13. Take that. That's 2 in the boat. So it's either they don't want the spinner today or they like that up and down in the water column of the snap weight. Like I said, I'm just using 2 ounces, so I'm pushing it back there about 100 feet. I'm getting into that 30-foot zone. Oop. There he is. There you go. I was just saying that spinner wasn't getting bit. Was he there? He's there. He's just lazy. Got him. Nice. That guy put up no fight. He was like, I give up. Just kill me. Just kill me now. Alright. They're loving the Nerka today. And he's off. That was a light bite. Oop. Whoa, that's a hit. Whoa, whoa, look at this. What do we got here? Big rainbow? Jeez, did you see that thing hit? What do I got here? That was a hit. It's got to be a big rainbow. If it's a kokanee, it's going to be a big one. Not fighting kokanee like though. That thing just destroyed that. Oh, look, he's still there, he's still there. Jeez. He is a beast. Wasn't expecting that after catching like 11 to 13 inch kokanee. Wow. Stripping some line. He's fighting like a trout. Yeah, it's a big, big rainbow. Just a toad of a rainbow. And he's hung up in that line. Oh, come here. That was fun. Whew, that is a beast of a rainbow. Probably not going to release him given that it's 76 degrees out on the surface. That's still fun. Look at the size of that rainbow. That is a tank. Probably 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds. Okay, get him on ice. Yeah, there's not much point in releasing trout or kokanee when surface temperatures are 76 degrees. They are not going to fare well. You can see there's really good numbers here, stacked along 30 feet. You can see my downrigger line, and just tons of kokanee coming in to check it out. There's just certain areas where they're clustered like that in these loose, strung out schools. And a lot of times I notice that, with these fourth-year fish, they're going to move up onto the edges of shelves. Like, I'll go out to the middle basin and I can't find them, but if I go to the edges of lakes, especially starting in August, they seem to have this instinct to move up to shallower areas or on the edge of shallower areas. And so, like today, I'm just seeing a lot of fish hanging out in that 30 to 35 foot zone adjacent to 10, 20 feet. Boy, I'm just getting hammered here. Just can't get them to, they're a little bit light striking today. There we go. Nice. Definitely getting them on the turn like that. Okay. Got him. Number 4 in the boat. Just getting them on the back hook today. Which means they are short striking. They're just coming up and swiping at the tail. And all the little bites I've had in that last pass where I didn't convert, just the bait on the back hook is missing. So they're not coming in and swiping at that stuff. Hyper aggressive by any means. Oop, there we go. All right. Another thing that I'll notice is that especially as we get past like mid-August, some of these fish, especially if they're early spawners, will start to sort of abandon the thermocline and start venturing into waters that are not necessarily ideal temperatures. But I guess as they're coming towards the end of their life, they don't care as much about a jumper. They don't care as much about staying in that optimal temperature zone. Nice. Strong fish. There we go. Got him. Sweet. There we go. Wondered if I get one on that turn. Nice. I think another inspiration for me to produce Nerka was, you know, having grown up in Kansas, I just find the whole transformation of salmon just really incredibly amazing. Like I'm still like in awe of like how these fish change color, and then they have this pre-programmed death, which is important to the survival of their own offspring. I just think it's such an amazing natural wonder that they exist. You know, first time I encountered kokanee was when I was going to school in Gunnison, Colorado, and I walked down to the Gunnison River in the fall, and there was just all these little red salmon swimming, and I had no idea because I just wasn't that much into fishing at the time, jumper. And I started doing some research and on salmon after that and kokanee, and I was so intrigued from that day forward. This dodger is sort of an homage to kokanee in general, which is why I have the spawning kokanee as my logo on my channel, just because I do think they're really amazing. Ooh, this is a chunky fish. Whoa! This will be the biggest fish of the day if I can get it in. Good grief, wow. He's a fighter. Yeah, nice. That's like 15-inch fish. That's a nice fish. Beautiful. Great. All right, I'll put links to the dodger set up below. This will be the last dodger release out of the 4 dodgers that I'm making with J&K Tackle. So after we sell out of these ones, which I'm sure will sell out pretty fast, I think he made over 100, so it's quite a number. They're going to take a few months off to catch up on their inventory. Plus, they're flying in the Gulf, and this time of year, there's the opportunity for a lot of hurricanes. So, you know, they need to be flexible and available to do their work down there. And then after they take a few months off, right around Christmas, we're going to release an entire set of these dodgers. The whole shebang. You'll be able to get superficial, Goldilocks, Twilight Zone, and Nerka, all as one complete set. So I really appreciate J&K's support on this, and just how much enthusiasm there's been to get a hold of these dodgers. I think we've both been blown away by it, and it's been really moving and touching for me, and it's been a really fun and exciting project. Like I said, I've always wanted to do this, but just never seemed to work out with other companies when I asked them to do it. They just always seem to drag their feet or make false promises. But J&K have been, even despite their super hectic and busy schedules, they've really made a lot of time for this, as much as they could, and they've done a spectacular job, and I'm just very, very grateful for that opportunity. All right, I'm gonna get my last 3 fish here for the day, and then wrap up and head home before it gets too hot. But I'll see you guys next time. Just remember, fish smarter, not harder. Bye, guys.